Across America, gardeners are speeding up compost breakdown with one simple hidden layer. And chances are, you've walked past it hundreds of times without knowing what it can do. It's quiet, it's natural, and it can turn a slow, stubborn pile into rich, dark compost in a fraction of the time. For many older gardeners, this tiny discovery feels like bringing back a forgotten bit of wisdom, something simple, gentle, and powerful that makes the garden come alive again. Why this secret matters. You've spent decades tending your garden. You know the rhythm of the seasons, the patience it takes to nurture a tiny seed into something flourishing. You've seen seedlings struggle, leaves curl, and soil dry up under the harsh summer sun. You understand the quiet satisfaction of a well-tended plot, the way life returns to your garden when you give it care and attention. And yet sometimes, even with all that patience, compost piles seem to stubbornly linger, slow to break down, leaving you wondering if there's a better way. This hidden layer, so simple, so unassuming, changes everything. It's not a new chemical, a fancy gadget, or an expensive miracle product. It's something the old-time gardeners, the ones who worked the land before us, knew well. They understood that the garden thrives not just through hard work, but through clever, natural tricks, small interventions that honor the soil and let nature do the heavy lifting. For seniors who have spent years practicing frugal living, this secret is a reminder that the best solutions are often inexpensive, resourceful, and rooted in tradition. It's about taking what's already at hand, a bit of cardboard, paper, or leaves, and layering it in a way that speeds decomposition, enriches the soil, and reduces waste. It's a nod to the wisdom of our forebears to reuse, to recycle, and to let patience meet cleverness. And the beauty of this trick is that it speaks to something deeper than gardening alone. It connects to a lifetime of experiences, lessons learned in patience, persistence, and observation. When you apply it, you feel a quiet sense of continuity, the satisfaction of using knowledge passed down from those who came before you, combined with the joy of seeing your compost transform faster, feeding your plants richer, healthier nutrients. There's also a subtle joy and efficiency watching your compost speed up. Means more time for other things you love. It's a gentle reward for years of care, a reminder that small, thoughtful adjustments can have big results. And in a world that often feels rushed and wasteful, this is a quiet rebellion, a way to honor resources, save money, and care for the land in a way that's sustainable and meaningful. So why does this secret matter? Because it turns waiting into doing, effort into reward, and tradition into innovation. It reconnects you with the rhythms of nature, while giving you the satisfaction of seeing faster results. Most importantly, it reminds you that the wisdom of old gardeners isn't lost. It's right here, waiting for anyone willing to notice, willing to learn, and willing to let a simple layer transform the work you've spent years perfecting. By the end of this video, you won't just know a trick, you'll understand a philosophy. That great gardening is about patience, respect, and a touch of cleverness passed down through generations. Introducing the problem. Even the most dedicated gardeners know the frustration. You gather your kitchen scraps, yard clippings, and fallen leaves with care, stacking them into your compost bin with high hopes. And then you wait. Days turn into weeks, weeks into months, and your pile barely changes. You peek inside, and it's the same mix of half-rotted food, dry leaves, and stubborn soil. You remember when compost seemed faster, more lively, but now it almost feels like the pile is working against you. Some piles stay painfully dry, refusing to break down no matter how much water you sprinkle or how often you turn them. The leaves crunch under your fingers. The scraps seem to mock you, and your patience wears thin. Then there are the wet piles, the ones that look like they might finally be working, until they turn slimy, smell unpleasant, and attract unwanted pests. It feels like no matter what you do, something goes wrong, leaving you with more stress than satisfaction. This is where many gardeners give up, tossing scraps into the trash or buying compost from stores, thinking perhaps they just don't have the green thumb for it. But the truth is, it's not about skill, it's about understanding a hidden factor that most people overlook. A simple adjustment can transform the entire process, turning months of waiting into weeks and weeks into days. Ask yourself, how long does your compost usually take to break down? A month? 3 months? Half a year? Leave your answer in the comments. We'd love to compare notes and hear how your compost journey is going. Sharing experiences isn't just about numbers. It's about connecting with fellow gardeners who know the struggle, the hope, and the satisfaction that comes when everything finally comes together. The pain of a slow compost pile is more than inconvenience. It's missed opportunity. Every day that scraps sit unbroken is a day your garden misses out on the nutrients it desperately needs. It's a reminder that even the simplest, most natural processes can become complicated when we overlook one small, crucial element. For seniors who've spent a lifetime perfecting routines and conserving resources, this slow breakdown is especially frustrating because you've learned to work smarter, not harder. But here's the hopeful part. The problem isn't permanent. Your slow, stubborn, or slimy compost can be fixed with a method that's been quietly used by gardeners for generations. It doesn't require expensive tools or harsh chemicals. It simply requires noticing what most people walk past, understanding its power, and layering your compost in a way that helps nature do its work faster and cleaner. By the end of this video, you'll see why your pile refuses to break down, and you'll discover a gentle, practical way to speed up the process. You'll finally turn frustration into satisfaction, wasted scraps into rich, dark compost, and waiting into rewarding results. Reveal the secret layer. Now that we've seen why compost can be slow, let's talk about the secret that changes everything. A simple, hidden layer that most gardeners overlook. We call it the nitrogen booster bed. It's made from fresh grass, clippings, and kitchen greens. Things you already have on hand, and it works, quietly but powerfully, to bring your compost to life. Here's how it works. Take a thin layer, about 1 to 2 inches thick, of fresh green material. Place it right in the middle of your compost pile, between layers of your regular browns like leaves, shredded paper, or dried garden debris. That's it. This small layer acts like a natural heater, feeding the microorganisms that do the heavy lifting in your pile. Suddenly, your compost has the energy it needs to break down organic material much faster, often 2 to 3 times faster than without this trick. The magic is simple but fascinating. Microorganisms thrive on nitrogen-rich material. When you add this hidden green layer, you're essentially giving them a feast in the middle of your pile. They go to work immediately, generating heat, moisture, and movement that accelerates the decomposition process. Dry scraps become soft, stubborn leaves crumble faster, and even wet piles balance out as the natural breakdown happens efficiently. A few important tips will make this layer truly effective. 1. Grass clippings must be added sparingly. Too much can mat together, blocking airflow and slowing down your pile instead of helping it. A thin layer is all that's needed. 2. Mix gently with browns. Lightly cover the green layer with leaves, paper, or straw to maintain balance. This keeps your pile from smelling and ensures nutrients are spread evenly. 3. Moisture matters. Keep the pile damp, like a wrung-out sponge, not soggy. Too much water can create slime. Too little slows decomposition. The beauty of this secret is that it's completely natural, cost-free, and immediately practical. Seniors who have gardened for years will appreciate that it doesn't require new tools or chemicals, just observation, a little care, and the willingness to try. Something old gardeners have quietly known for generations. Once you add this layer, you'll notice changes in days. Your compost pile warms, shrinks, and begins transforming into rich, dark humus that smells like earthy goodness. Kitchen scraps that once sat for months suddenly disappear. Leaves that seemed stubborn crumble beneath your fingers. And best of all, you'll feel that quiet satisfaction of using wisdom passed down through the ages. Seeing patience meet practicality in your very own garden. This is not a trick you need to remember to repeat every week. Just one well-placed nitrogen booster bed in the middle of your compost pile is enough to ignite the process. It's a gentle, low-effort way to turn frustration into joy, slow waiting into fast results, and everyday scraps into a nourishing gift for your plants. How to build the layer. Now that you know the secret behind the nitrogen booster bed, it's time to put it into practice. This step-by-step guide will show you exactly how to build your compost pile so it works efficiently, safely, and in a way that's gentle on your back and joints. Step 1. Start with a brown base layer. Begin with a foundation of dry, carbon-rich materials. Leaves, shredded paper, or cardboard work perfectly. Aim for a layer a few inches thick to provide structure and airflow at the bottom. This base prevents soggy spots and helps your pile stay balanced. Think of it as laying the groundwork for a strong, healthy ecosystem for your compost. Step 2. Add your regular compost materials. Next, layer in your typical compost ingredients: fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, small branches, and garden trimmings. These are the ingredients you've been using all along. They provide bulk and variety for your pile. Spread them evenly, making sure the pile is not too compacted. Your compost needs air as much as it needs nutrients. Step 3. Stop at the midpoint. Add the booster bed. This is the key step. Once you've reached the middle of your pile, add the nitrogen booster bed. A thin layer, 1 to 2 inches, of fresh grass clippings, fruit and vegetable scraps, coffee grounds, optional, but a nice boost for microbes. Remember, less is more. Too thick a layer of grass can mat together and block airflow. Lightly mix the greens with a little brown material so everything stays balanced. This hidden layer acts as a natural heater, feeding microbes and kickstarting decomposition. Step 4. Cover with a thick brown layer. After the booster bed, cover everything with a generous layer of browns, leaves, shredded paper, or straw. This locks in heat, maintains moisture, and prevents unpleasant odors. It's like tucking your compost in for a cozy week of work by unseen helpers, the microbes. Step 5. Lightly water plus leave for a week. Your pile needs to be damp, but not soggy. Think of a wrung-out sponge. Lightly water it, and then let it rest for about a week. During this time, microorganisms feast on the booster layer, generating heat and breaking down organic material faster than normal. You'll notice the pile shrinking, softening, and warming, a sign that life is returning to your compost. Senior-friendly tip: if bending over is difficult, don't strain your back. Use a long-handled fork or rake to lift layers gently instead of leaning over the pile. Small adjustments and careful handling make the process comfortable, safe, and sustainable. By following these 5 steps, you're not just tossing scraps into a bin, you're creating a living system, an ecosystem in miniature. Your compost is no longer a slow, frustrating chore. It becomes a source of pride, efficiency, and connection to both nature and the wisdom of gardeners past. Each layer you add is a step toward richer soil, healthier plants, and a garden that thrives with less effort and more joy. Why this works? You've built your pile, added your nitrogen booster bed, and now it's time to understand why it transforms stubborn scraps into rich, dark compost so quickly. The secret lies in the tiny, hardworking creatures that live right inside your pile: microbes. Microbes are nature's composters. They feast on organic material and, like all living things, they need energy to grow and reproduce. Nitrogen-rich greens, fresh grass clippings, kitchen scraps, coffee grounds act like a gourmet meal for them. When they start eating, they multiply rapidly, producing heat as a byproduct. This heat is the heart of your compost pile, the hidden engine that drives decomposition. The placement of your booster layer is crucial. By putting the nitrogen-rich greens in the middle of the pile, you create a warm center. The middle gets the hottest because the surrounding layers insulate it, trapping the heat that microbes generate. Think of it like a cozy blanket keeping the activity alive and concentrated, giving your pile the energy it needs to break down even the toughest leaves and garden scraps. As the heat builds, chemical and microbial reactions speed up. Dry, stubborn materials soften. Wet, slimy materials balance out. Slowly, the entire pile transforms from a patchwork of scraps into a lively, active system buzzing with invisible life. The energy created in the middle spreads outward, accelerating the breakdown throughout the entire pile. A helpful way to see this is visually. Imagine 2 piles side by side, one with your hidden booster layer, and one without. The traditional pile sits still, waiting, while the boosted pile visibly shrinks, darkens, and warms. Leaves crumble more easily, food scraps almost disappear, and you can see the difference in texture and activity. Seniors often describe this as watching your pile come alive, a quiet joy that makes all the effort worthwhile. The beauty of this system is that it's natural, safe, and gentle. You don't need chemicals or fancy gadgets. You're simply feeding the microbes what they need, in the right place, at the right time. And the results reward both your patience and your wisdom. Faster decomposition, richer compost, and healthier soil that nurtures your plants for months to come. In essence, the why is simple. Nitrogen-rich greens feed the microbes. Microbes generate heat. Heat spreads through the middle. Faster breakdown. By understanding this, you can see that composting isn't just waiting. It's active, dynamic, and responsive to your care. So next time you add that hidden layer, watch the middle of your pile closely. Feel the warmth, see the transformation, and take pride in applying a method that respects both nature and the decades of gardening wisdom you carry. You're not just composting, you're creating life, one layer at a time. Mistakes to avoid. Even experienced gardeners know that composting isn't always perfect. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, piles go wrong. But the good news is that most problems are easy to prevent once you know what to watch for. Let's go through the common mistakes and how to avoid them, so your compost becomes a reliable, thriving source of rich soil instead of a frustrating chore. 1. Thick mats of grass clippings. Fresh grass is wonderful for feeding microbes, but too much can do more harm than good. Thick, dense mats block airflow, trapping moisture and slowing decomposition. Your nitrogen booster. Beds should be thin, just 1 to 2 inches, and gently mixed with browns, like leaves or shredded paper. This allows air to circulate, keeps microbes happy, and prevents the pile from becoming a smelly, slimy mess. 2. Overwatering. Moisture is essential, but too much water can be disastrous. Compost should feel like a wrung-out sponge, damp enough for microbes to thrive, but not soggy. Overwatering can drown the microbes, create unpleasant odors, and slow down the entire process. Light, gentle watering and regular checks will keep your pile just right. 3. Overloading citrus or oily foods. Small amounts of citrus or vegetable oil scraps are okay, but too much can throw off the balance. Citrus peels are acidic, and excess oil can coat materials, making it harder for microbes to do their work. Keep these to a minimum, spread thinly throughout the pile, and balance them with browns to maintain harmony. 4. Avoid meat and dairy. Meat, bones, cheese, and other dairy products are tempting to compost but should be avoided. They attract pests, produce strong odors, and can introduce harmful bacteria. Stick to plant-based scraps to keep your compost safe, clean, and senior-friendly. Mistakes happen, and they're part of learning. What matters is noticing early, adjusting carefully, and keeping the pile balanced. That's why we encourage sharing experiences. Have you ever had a compost pile go wrong? Did it smell, get slimy, or take forever to break down? Leave your story in the comments. By sharing, we help each other avoid the same pitfalls and grow together as a community of gardeners. Remember, composting isn't about perfection. It's about consistent care and small adjustments. Each layer you add, each watering decision, and each observation teaches you more about how your garden responds. Seniors often find joy in these small victories, knowing that even tiny tweaks create healthier, faster results. By avoiding these common mistakes, your pile will stay balanced, active, and productive. You'll see faster decomposition, enjoy less mess, and end up with richer, darker compost to nourish your plants. Most importantly, you'll gain confidence, knowing that a little knowledge goes a long way. Senior-friendly adaptations. Gardening is a joy at any age, but we know that as the years go by, bending, lifting, and stirring a compost pile can become challenging. The good news is that composting can be adapted to make it easier, safer, and just as effective. These simple modifications help seniors stay active in the garden while feeling confident and valued. 1. Use raised compost bins. A raised bin keeps the pile at waist height, reducing the need to bend or kneel. You still get the same decomposition benefits, but with far less strain on your back and knees. It's a practical adjustment that lets you compost comfortably day after day. 2. Keep a small brown bucket indoors. Having a dedicated container in the kitchen for dry scraps, like shredded paper, coffee grounds, or vegetable peelings, means you don't have to make extra trips outside. Every few days, you can transfer the contents to your main compost pile. It's a small step that saves effort and keeps you consistent, which is key to successful composting. 3. Use lightweight tools. Choose long-handled forks, rakes, and shovels made of lightweight materials. They reduce strain and make turning or layering the pile much easier. You can still mix greens and browns effectively without risking fatigue or injury. 4. Gloves with padded grip. For those with arthritis or joint pain, padded gardening gloves make a huge difference. They protect your hands, give extra grip, and make handling leaves, scraps, and clippings more comfortable. Seniors who try these often say they feel empowered to do more with less discomfort. These adaptations are more than just conveniences, they're acknowledgments that your experience, wisdom, and dedication matter. They honor the years you've spent gardening, the care you put into your plants, and the joy you find in nurturing life from the soil. Composting doesn't have to be a burden. It can be a fulfilling, safe, and enjoyable part of your routine. By making small, thoughtful adjustments, you can maintain your compost pile with ease, stay active, and continue seeing fast, satisfying results. You'll no longer have to choose between comfort and efficiency. These adaptations let you have both, and in doing so, your garden benefits. Your compost thrives, and you get to enjoy the process fully, knowing that age or physical limitation doesn't have to slow down the magic of turning scraps into life-giving soil. Your garden, your compost, and your well-being all grow together when we respect the wisdom of experience and make space for accessibility. Small changes make a big difference, and they ensure that every senior gardener can feel capable, confident, and connected to the life they are nurturing. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to appreciate something simple yet powerful. Composting doesn't have to be slow, messy, or complicated. For decades, gardeners have labored over piles that seemed stubborn and unyielding, but sometimes all it takes is one small, smart adjustment to bring life back to your soil. That hidden layer, the nitrogen booster bed, may seem modest, but its impact is profound. It accelerates decomposition, feeds your plants richer nutrients, and turns ordinary scraps into a nourishing gift for your garden. It's a gentle reminder that even in gardening and in life, small, thoughtful actions create extraordinary results. Think about the joy of watching your compost pile transform. From dry, stubborn leaves to rich, dark humus, the process is not just about speed, it's about connection. It's about seeing nature respond to your care, noticing the subtle changes that signal life returning to your garden, and feeling that quiet satisfaction only gardeners know. Seniors often describe it as watching a miracle unfold right under their hands, a testament to patience, experience, and the wisdom gained over a lifetime. This method also honors frugality and resourcefulness. No expensive gadgets, no chemicals, just materials you already have, layered with intention and care. It's an approach that aligns with the values many of us have lived by for years. Reuse, recycle, and find joy in simple solutions. And there's more than just soil enriched. There's community, too. Sharing this knowledge with friends, neighbors, or online gardening groups spreads wisdom and builds connection. Remember, the garden is not just a place of growth for plants, but for people. Each tip you pass on, each story you tell, keeps old knowledge alive and accessible for the next generation of gardeners. So as you go forward, let this be a gentle reminder. Your compost can thrive, your plants can flourish, and your garden can become more rewarding than ever, all with a small, mindful adjustment. You have the tools, the experience, and the insight to make it happen. If this video helped you today, here's how you can continue the circle of growth. Give it a like, share it with a gardening friend who might benefit, and subscribe to the Evergreen Seniors, where old wisdom grows new life every day. Your garden is more than a collection of plants. It's a reflection of your patience, care, and creativity. And with the right approach, every compost pile, every seed, every leaf can bring not just life back to the soil, but joy, satisfaction, and connection back to you. Remember, one smart layer, a little patience, and a touch of care can make a world of difference. Your garden and your life are worth it.